Hey everyone, my name is Rachel Abiodun and I make videos all about holistic wellness. So fibroids, endometriosis, thyroid disorders, but also things like grief and our mental health and just our overall wellness. So if you are interested in any of those topics, definitely subscribe. Today we are talking about a lot of our favorite topics, food. So we are talking about nightshade vegetables and lectins and how these may be linked or related to fibroids, endo, thyroid conditions, etc. Now, would you believe this topic had me up really late last night? I'm actually like exhausted right now because I haven't had that much sleep because I was up researching about this topic. Essentially, I made a really lovely eggplant and mushroom dinner last night and I filmed it. So what I will do is I actually upload it after this video for you to see my favorite eggplant and mushroom dinner recipe. And then whilst I was eating it, my mind started going at like 100 miles per hour. I was thinking, hang on a minute, eggplants belong to the nightshade family. And I've been seeing and hearing quite a bit about nightshades and lectins, etc., and how they may not be the best for endo, fibroids, even autoimmune conditions. So I started feeling guilty. I got on Google, started like typing away, researching, and then I just went down the whole rabbit hole of this topic. But I thought, let me come on and make a video about this because if you have endo or fibroids, or just you're looking after your holistic health in general, you probably have come across this topic and you're probably thinking, is the healthy food I'm eating, is it really healthy? Is it doing damage to my hormones like in the background? Am I making the best decisions for my health? So what I will do in this video is I will share the info that I came across last night and this morning about this topic. And I actually wrote a blog post about it as well. So let me read it out to you so that you get all of the juicy info that I've found and so that you have notes for this video as well. So if you are really on this journey of trying to shrink your fibroids or trying to minimize your symptoms, your endo symptoms, then you've got lots of great information to help you on this path. So I'm going to be looking here because my laptop is literally right in front of me. I'll put the blog post on this side of the screen so you can read along, but essentially I'm going to read it out to you so you get all of the important information and you can learn as we go through the blog post. So here it is. I titled it, Should We Ditch Nightshades? Are Healthy Foods Hurting Our Hormones? Hopefully not, but let's dive into the topic and find out. So if you have endometriosis, fibroids, or a thyroid condition, chances are that you've come across warnings about nightshades and lectins. It almost feels like a rite of passage when you're on this journey. It's just one of the preliminary topics that you must come across. These plant-based compounds are often blamed for triggering inflammation, disrupting our hormones, and worsening autoimmune symptoms. But should we really be avoiding them, or is this just another layer of food fear? Let's unpack the facts. So first things first, what are nightshades? Nightshades are essentially a family of plants that include tomatoes, white potatoes, eggplants or aubergines as we call them in the UK, ashwagandha, I was really surprised that was on the list, peppers such as bell peppers, chili peppers, and then the more sort of like experimental peppers you can see listed on the screen, paprika, and also crushed red peppers or hot pepper flakes. So these foods contain natural compounds like solanine and capsaicin, hopefully I pronounced that right, which are sometimes labeled as inflammatory or irritating to the gut, especially in sensitive individuals. So what about lectins? Well, lectins are proteins found in many plants, particularly legumes, so red kidney beans, black beans, lentils, chickpeas, soybeans, peanuts, green peas, split peas, etc. They're also contained in grains, so wheat, barley, rye, oats, corn, rice, millet. They're found in nightshades as well, so tomatoes and potatoes, for example, They're found in squashes, so you've got butternut squash, you've got pumpkins, you've got courgettes, and then they're also found in seeds like quinoa and amaranth. Lectins are sometimes called anti-nutrients because they can bind to the nutrients that we eat and interfere with their absorption in our body. They're also tough to digest and can irritate the gut lining in some people, especially if we consume them in large quantities or if we don't prepare them properly. So, do nightshades or lectins worsen endometriosis or fibroids? The golden question. Endometriosis, a lot of us know, is a chronic inflammatory disease, and both endo and fibroids are strongly linked to gut health. So it's understandable to question whether these healthy foods can be problematic. Let's start with endometriosis. So, nightshades and lectins may worsen inflammation and contribute to gut irritation or what we call leaky gut in some individuals. Given that endometriosis involves chronic inflammation and immune dysregulation, it's understandable that nightshades and lectins are concerning. When it comes to fibroids, currently anyway, there's no strong scientific evidence specifically linking nightshades to the development of fibroids or the worsening of fibroid symptoms. However, if your gut lining is already compromised, which it is in a lot of people with endo and fibroids, lectins may worsen symptoms like bloating or pelvic pain. So that's for endo and fibroids, but what about autoimmune thyroid conditions? Well, nightshades aren't goitrogenic, meaning that they don't directly interfere with thyroid hormone production, but for those of us with autoimmune thyroid conditions, lectins could still be relevant. Why? Because autoimmune conditions like Hashimoto's or Graves' disease, I've got Graves' disease, they are often linked to gut dysbiosis, which is essentially an imbalance in the composition of your gut microbiome, basically the community of bacteria, fungi, and other microbes living in your digestive tract. So they can be linked to gut dysbiosis, but they can also be linked to what we call leaky gut as well. In sensitive individuals, lectins may stimulate our immune system, they may exacerbate flares, and they may worsen digestive issues, all potentially very worrying for those of us with Hashimoto's or Graves' disease. So this is why protocols such as the autoimmune paleo diet often recommend temporarily cutting out both nightshades and lectins to calm our immune response and to support our gut healing. Okay, so here's the main question on all of our minds. Should we be avoiding them? Well, the decision is highly individual. It really comes down to what you feel comfortable with and what you feel your body likes and dislikes. Here's a simple breakdown though. You probably don't need to eliminate nightshades and lectins if you don't notice symptoms after you eat. So if you don't get, racing heart rate, sweaty, if you don't get bloating, pelvic pain, just pain in your joints, if you feel like your body isn't really reacting adversely to them, you probably don't need to eliminate them. Also, if your digestion and your energy levels feel stable, probably it's fine. Your body doesn't really dislike them and you're good to go. And then also, if you're managing your autoimmune symptoms well, then lectins, nightshades, they may not really be an issue for you. However, we may need to consider removing or reducing them if we're struggling with bloating, IBS, or gut discomfort, which a lot of us are if we have fibroids, endo, all of these kind of hormone related diseases, conditions. Also, if you're experiencing any flares related to your autoimmune condition, that may also be the sign to reduce or eliminate them. And then also, if you just generally feel worse after eating nightshades or lectin rich foods, again, listen to your body and do what works best for you. Another idea is to try the gentle elimination test. So if you're unsure, like after hearing all of this information, if you're still not sure what to do, then try this simple experiment. What you can do is you can remove all nightshades and high lectin foods for about 3 to 4 weeks. So just give your body a break if you can. I know they're found in so many of the fruit and veg we eat, but if you can, try and remove them and then track your symptoms. See if you notice any changes in your body, in your mood, your energy levels, your digestion, your pelvic pain, etc. Just see if your body reacts in any noticeable ways. And then start to reintroduce these lectin rich foods or these nightshades back into your diet one at a time, so that you can see if any cause any triggers or flares in your body. So introduce one and then wait a few days and then observe what's going on, if anything. Sometimes we can have reactions to one nightshade vegetable and not the other, or we may have a reaction to lectin rich foods but not something else. So it is important to try and keep a food diary and just to keep track of how your body is responding to what you're eating. Other tips that you can implement are soaking, sprouting them, fermenting them, or like thoroughly cooking them, perhaps using a pressure cooker. That helps reduce the lectin content that is in lectin rich foods and makes them easier on the gut to digest as well. And then also you may want to consider cooking your nightshade vegetables as opposed to eating them raw or fresh. So like tomatoes, eggplants, cook them beforehand. That helps lower the solanine content, which is the stuff that may cause the inflammation, the disruption to our gut lining, etc. Also, you can pair them with gut supporting foods such as bone broth, fermented vegetables, or like aloe vera juice. Just have a think about what you can pair them with and see if that helps in any way. So the bottom line here is essentially the science is evolving. There's no like direct or concrete evidence that these foods definitely contribute to worsen symptoms or the growth of fibroids or endometriosis tissues. While some women with endometriosis or fibroids report reduced bloating and reduced pelvic pain when they cut out nightshade vegetables, there's currently no strong clinical evidence linking nightshade or lectins to the worsening of endo or fibroids. So these foods aren't inherently bad, and in fact we know that they contain so many nutrients that are great for us: vitamin C's, antioxidants, anti-inflammatories as well. So they are like recommended to eat a lot of the time. But if you are dealing with endometriosis, fibroids, or autoimmune thyroid conditions, or even gut issues, it's possible that they can be contributing to inflammation and immune flare-ups. So rather than completely cutting them out, maybe consider again listening to your body and also adopting an elimination approach. So experimenting with specific individual foods and seeing if any of them create triggers or flare-ups in your body, and just overall seeing what works well for your body. So I hope this information wasn't too much to digest. Again, I've written a whole blog post about this, which you've seen on the screen. So you can head on over to my website to like copy down any notes that stand out to you, anything that you want to save on your phone. It is really important that we try and do as much research about all the possible things that may be impacting our hormonal health. And this is why I've started talking a lot more about this on my channel. That's why I'm posting on Instagram, on TikTok, etc. And just trying to bring you as much information as possible. So all the info that I'm coming across on this journey, I'll continue to share with you. And if you've got anything, that you experience that you want to share with anyone in the comments, perhaps you do experience flare-ups when you eat nightshades and lectin-rich foods, or perhaps you haven't noticed any changes and you're like, what's all the fuss about? Share it in the comments below. We would all be interested to hear your experience with this. And then also, I will be uploading my favorite aubergine or eggplant dinner recipe next, so make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss that video. But essentially I have filmed myself cooking in the kitchen, and I would love to share this recipe with you because I eat it like every other week or so, and it's a great substitute to eating white rice and like lots of carbs. I really love that dinner recipe. I will share it with you next on the channel, so subscribe so that you don't miss that video and so that you get all of the juicy info. If you did enjoy this video, hit the like button, share it with someone who is also experiencing endo, fibroids or thyroid conditions, and yeah, keep a lookout for the next video. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you soon. Take care.